So this is life, and I'll be your concierge. Today we have a very exciting guest. I've been looking forward to speaking to him for quite some time now. Scientist, founder, CEO of Medical Diagnostic South Africa, Ashley Uys. How are you, my brother?
I'm good, Bella boy. How are you?
Bella boys.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you're doing this. Can we cheers before we start?
For sure. Can I send a shout out to all the Bella boys?
Absolutely.
They know who they are.
You know, it's so crazy because you sitting over here, and we just had a catering company here as well, Lauren and Rory from Zos and Bites.
Yeah.
All Bella in one group.
Yes.
I think this can only go up from here. We're going to have a good
Brother,
time.
we are fortunate to have grown up in an area where we could learn both good and bad.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I want to touch on that a lot later, especially.
Sure.
But for now, I want to find out, I want to take it right to the beginning, right?
Sure.
Father,
Yes.
how old?
My father or me? My
You
son.
can start with your son.
Okay, let me start with my son.
Yeah.
My son is 9 years old. Brody
9 years
is.
old. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Brother, how many siblings?
I'm the eldest of 5 boys. We were 6 kids. My baby sister, 16-year-old, unfortunately passed on due to violence on the Cape Flats, as we know.
Yeah,
but we'll elaborate on that.
100%.
Of course, lessons been learned through that.
Yeah. Awesome, man. And then tell me, I know, thanks again for making the time to sit down here with you. I want to find out everything about, you know, how it all began. I know for you were at UWC, where I was as well, but I think you started slightly before me. What is the qualification? What was it that you did?
Yeah, so I studied biotechnology. I got my honors degree in biotechnology, and then I got a scholarship for my master's degree in biotechnology. And that's the turning point for me, where I decided, do I want to become overqualified, being doctorinated by a PhD?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I decided to go into industry. And in order to do that, I done phylogenetics. It's basic genetic research on the HIV virus.
Yeah.
I done it at the University of Cape Town. And my job was basically to extract the genetic material out of the virus and then to plot a family tree of how they're related.
Okay.
And that for me was very monotonous. It wasn't my ideal passion. Science, I always knew I loved science. I always knew that I want to go into science. I didn't know if it's going to be physics or biology. But yeah, I specialized in biotechnology. I then done an internship program, very good internship. It was called the Hellfire Internship, hosted by Icon Technologies. They don't exist anymore. It was a pilot they ran where they recruited 13 scientists from various universities across South Africa with the intent of boosting the industry. And they equipped us with business skills. So we had to do a 2-year course where we had WITS Business School, UCT Graduate School of Business, and we had Learn to Lead and all these organizations on board. And we had it in Constantia. They actually got us a good venue. So it was a very expensive course funded by government through the Small Enterprise Development Agency and the Department of Science and Innovation. What happened there was they placed us at host companies, and I was placed at a company called Vision Biotech. And when I got there, my job was to do research and development, how to manufacture and develop diagnostic tests. So I done a lot of lab work. But we had to submit a business plan at the end. We either had to write a business plan on how you're going to get your host company to expand, or if you're going to start your own company. 12 interns, very happy, stayed at the companies, well-paid jobs. Ashley Uys, married enough. Let me start my own company. But we'll elaborate on that.
I was going to say, because it's not, generally when you study something, they don't really add the business element to it. You know what I mean? It's like, even as an actor, with me, it's like, yeah, go and study, go become an actor, go study, become a CA, become a doctor, whatever. But nobody really teaches you the business side of things. So that sounded like it was very beneficial to you.
Definitely.
And
you know, life teaches us the business side first. So, you know, as we grew up in the Cape Flats, I grew up in Bishop Lavis. I had to become entrepreneurial in my approach and my mindset because I was very frustrated at the circumstances. So when I grew up in a 2-room house, not even 2-bedroom. You know, a kitchen and a room. And then the bathroom is a imachi, as we call it.
I was going to ask you if it was the outhouse, because I
The
remember we used to
outhouse
have all the outhouses.
The outhouse is where we use the bathroom. It was in the neighbor's yard.
Yes.
So if you want to use a bathroom, go to the neighbor's yard.
It was always this little like face brick.
You know what I mean? So
one.
that was brilliant to grow up like that, because as you grow up as a kid, do you think that is bad? There's still a lot of love, you know?
Yeah.
But what that taught me was that over time, when I started to see what they refer to as the social classes, which I don't agree with, the system, I saw that what we thought is a lacking is actually a strength. Because from there, I got very aggressive. I got upset at my circumstances. But I, for some reason, used sport. I met you in Alvin Park. We played football together. Yes.
Of course,
and exactly. And I channeled it into my passion. But I ran like a blind horse. I lost emotion, you know. I had to come learn what emotion is afterwards again. So that's one of the things they don't teach you at school is emotional intelligence. What is empathy, compassion? How can you regulate between envy? Envy can go into jealousy, or it can go into pride. You can be proud of a person and say, well done, I wish I had what you had. Or it can be jealousy, he doesn't deserve us, you know. So there's all these things that growing up in the Cape Flats as a male, masculine drive is aggression first. And I've learned that I need to be aggressive here, but I need to now channel it, stay away from parties and girls. So I used to party with you guys, but not as hard. Remember? Not as hard.
100%.
Yeah. So it was merely that. I then worked at Peter Sellers in Paul.
I was the club.
The club. I was a waiter / barman. And then I worked at Woolworths where I packed fish. But all of this time I'm studying. Then I take a train after my classes to Woolworths to go pack the shelves, right?
This was during your UW days?
My study days. But it's also merely because my parents couldn't afford university. So my first year, I had to study extremely hard. There was a scholarship that came out. It was called the Timber Merit Awards, hosted by Golden Arrow Bus Service. But it was a real good initiative. They said that the first year dropout rate is the highest because students come from schools to varsity. Now you get Condom Square and the barn and the partying, you know.
I spent too much time
that they put the emphasis on those in the first year who's going to actually put all the effort into the third semester and the fourth semester's results. When I saw this come, obviously I wanted to go study hard. But they only chose one student per university. So it was UCT, UWC, Stellenbosch University, and I think Pentech that time still. And they added at the Artscape. And obviously, I'm sitting there in my nerves. I heard I'm one of the finalists, but they're only going to choose one. And they had this competition vibe, man, where the light like falls on you from UCT, this person, from Stellenbosch, that person. So it went and it came to UWC, and I'm like, I don't feel like going to Peter Sellers and working in a bar anymore. You know, if I can get a scholarship, because I had to work at UWC also. I had to go work at the maths department and format my hard drives and install software. Then they pay towards my student fees. You know, it's a student work thing. So running all of these things, thinking to myself, okay, you got to varsity. You got yourself out of Bishop Lavis because my dad done very well at the time when we moved from Bishop Lavis to Pearl Harbor when I met you. Substance abuse happened, lost everything. Then under pressure. So I went to UWC and you know, when I got there, I was so motivated to get the scholarship. And when the scholarship, when the light came to UWC, my mom sitting next to me, I'm like, please be me. And that light stopped at me. I'm like, yes. So I'm like, yes, now I don't have to pay for my varsity anymore.
What year were you when that happened?
That was 2000.
But how many more years of studying did you have ahead of you?
5.
5 more. So the next 5 years were...
So they covered the undergrad, and then the postgrad was covered by the National Research Foundation. So for my honors, they actually paid my salary while I was doing my honors, you know. So it was that God worked out amazing, you know. It was that the Timber Merit Award opened the doors. Marlene Leroux, I'll never forget her, you know. She was, what a powerful woman. When I got the Timber Merit Awards, so Golden Arrow said, don't worry, we're covering your entire university career. For your undergrad, you must just focus on your own living expenses. So it made it easy, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, so went through that, and I wanted to do forensic science. I watched Medical Detectives. But then I met Clifford Jacobs, a mentor of mine. Now this guy, wow, what a mentor. You know what he done one day? He was our demonstrator and lecturer. But he's from Oudtshoorn, man, colored boy. You know, he's a couple of years older than me. In actual fact, he's a generation before me. Let me say that rather. Devastatingly, you know, he worked at UWC and he published his PhD just to find out that it's been published before. So he lost his old doctorates. So he had to fall back into honors because he upgraded his master's degree. You know, you can upgrade when you get to master's. You can say, I don't want to do master's anymore in science. I want to now make this a PhD, skip my master's degree. He done that, and unfortunately, he didn't have his doctorates at the time. But then he lectured. and I met him. But the passion he came with, like, I'll never forget, he asked us to calculate how much salt to add into this beaker to make it a certain concentration. And one of the students worked out 50 kilos into this beaker.
Yeah.
Clifford didn't say anything. He went outside. They were busy building at UWC. He went to go fetch a cement bag. He come in the class. He's like, this is 50 kilos, man. You're a scientist. Isn't it common sense? Will this fit in that glass? You know what I mean? So I laughed and I thought, listen, yeah, this guy's passion is something great, man. So, but I didn't do the best at school, but when I came to university and I specialized in genetics and science and stuff, obviously it's the niche now, so I'm doing well.
Yeah.
And my first computer also, I didn't have a computer. So Professor Sean Davidson, he said, listen, yeah, he's going to put his own money in this now. Whoever comes first in this exam, and he had 4 exams. The last one, he said, whoever comes first in this exam will get 6,000 Rand. And I'm like, look at this. But now I don't have a PC at home. Now I go study. But it's my favorite subject, microbiology, and my mind thinking pictures, man. So I used to draw these bacteria out, and I see it as the Matrix, for example. But nevertheless, the students are phoning to our house phone that time, 952-3208. I remember that number.
I still remember mine, 952-1377.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
so the students were phoning, and my mom said, stop answering the phone and you helping them. I said, but mom, why not? I'm just going to go all in with this thing.
Yeah.
And wrote the exam, and they're all standing by this board, and they're like, who's first? And I walk, and I'm like, 93%. Just got the 6,000 Rand.
And
so
6K is a lot back then.
Yeah, so I went to Cash Converters. I bought my first PC.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So with Clifford Jacobs also at UWC, very significant guy.
Yeah.
I wanted to study forensic science, and he said, Ashley, you are smarter than this. Do you want to cut up panties and looking for semen stains and stuff and work in a lab?
Because that's like the reality of South Africa, I think.
You know what I mean?
The
so
hike, GBV,
so I had an argument
with
with him. I said, who gives you the right to tell me what I must do? He said, listen, I'm more experienced than you. Go into biotech. And then I considered it. And when I went into biotech, I could see what he meant. Because now you're using science to manufacture products, man. And that's the space I wanted to be in.
Yeah. That's incredible. Because I've got so many questions about what you just said. Even before that, you speak about the aggression of a child in growing up in the Cape Flats. Yeah. And I resonate with that big time. I mean, even with, both of us, you grew up in Lavis. My family's from Lavis, Elsies River. I'm from Bellar. But these are the communities we spent a lot of time in. Yeah. And sometimes people ask the question of like, why is it that a young boy in these neighborhoods are so susceptible to wanting to join gangs? And for me, I remember when I was 9 years old, for some reason, I scratched in my father's VCR, YDB, which was obviously one of the gangs in Bello at the time. Yeah. I don't know if I want to say the name of the gang, but you know what gang I'm talking about. Yeah. So I want to I don't know why it is that we have that type of aggression in us. I think it's like wanting to belong to something, or like you want to know that if something goes down, there's a group of guys that have your back. Yeah. Or maybe it's a lack of father figures or somebody to, I don't know.
In my opinion, and only based on my experience, it's fear-based.
Okay.
Everything's fear-based. It starts off with a generational curse from the family. And it's been passed on from bloodline, from ancestor to ancestor, down to your parents, where the value of a sibling and the value of a kid is not how I perceive it today, looking at my kid. Yeah. My thing is, thou shalt honor your parents if they're honorable. What if your father is a serial killer, rapist? Yeah. So now the system says honor, honor, honor. Yeah. And the second thing is, there was always a saying, jy moet gesien wees, nie gehoor wees. You must be seen.
Be seen, not heard. We used to hear that a lot in the house.
And then also...
so you lose your voice.
Why you're crying or you're muffy.
Yeah, all the time.
So emotionally...
Not in my house, but all the time. Yeah,
but I've seen this also, and I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but it's an experience I've gone through, and I've seen it, and what that does, it boxes the child in to his own beliefs being inferior. So the inferiority complex develops that way. The trauma behind it, making you feel that you're not good enough and you must follow a system. And also why you want to study this, you must become a that, because of the generational curse of where parents want to impress others, impress other family members. Yeah. It's a lack of what they possibly couldn't achieve, and you can't blame it because of apartheid and all of that, that it could portray back to you becoming a pawn. And
so it comes from a lack mindset in the child.
It comes from a lack of emotional intelligence.
Okay.
The ego being a defense mechanism. People think the ego is cool. Everything in media is programmed towards the ego. Music videos are about twerking. You know, everything is about popping. Everything is about flashing. It's about swagger. It's about, you know, impressing the next person. Now, the ego is the devil, because the ego itself, and I can only speak from experience, when I was very arrogant at some stage in my life and my mindset got to that stage, was my ego was inflated.
Do you find that was when you had, like, say, new money coming in for the first time?
When I came from nothing, when I came from nothing to having, it's normal for anybody to have an inflated ego because you're not used to it. Hulle noem dit bouillon. It's niks gewoond. That's a common thing for every person. How can you know an experience or know of something if you never had it? So what that does is not a bad thing, because when you get to this inflated ego, you start identifying, hey, every time I respond, I'm responding from a selfish perspective, not from a selfless perspective, from a community perspective. And unfortunately, to elevate and to ascend and to learn, you need to break. You need pain to break. So people look at pain as, why am I being cursed? It's actually, if you look at it, how can I use this pain to push me on the right path? It's a way of purging. It's an unlearning of bad habit. That is what woke is. What is conscious? It is when you know yourself so well that I know my devil is my ego. My spirit, I want my spirit to be the principal. I want my devil to be the prefect. The devil observe what's happening, but don't respond. If you respond, it's wrong.
And we've all got that. We've got to acknowledge the demons, I think, and the sides of ourselves that we know is going to lead us down certain paths, and the spirit, the good side of us.
So now then is also the mind, the body, the soul. The IQ, intellectual intelligence, the EQ, emotional intelligence, which Jesus Christ sits, and the PQ, the soul, the gut.
So I've heard of IQ and I've heard of EQ, but I've never heard of PQ. So what is PQ?
Okay, so my science. Okay, let me explain this first. So when I grew up, I was.
Did you coin that? PQ. It's
something I came up with.
Okay, that's amazing. Okay, cool.
I don't know if it exists though, but I came up with it. I wrote it down.
Okay.
I thought
I'd love to hear more about that.
It was like when I grew up, I obviously went into science, but I was an altar boy first. So I was at an altar boy, Catholic church, and after I went into science, I studied about Gregor Mendel's law of segregation, the father of genetics, Darwin and these things, and I lost. I became more atheist in my approach, but I always had this light in me that feels that, hey, something that doesn't sit well with me. So I went to my science and I thought, how can you prove God exists with science? And I thought, okay, science is energy cannot be created nor destroyed. That applies to energy in your body too. So you have electricity in your body. What makes your muscles contract? It's electricity. What makes your neurons fire? Electricity. So when you die, what happened to the electricity? Most people die on an insulated bed. Now we know from a scientific perspective.
It can't be destroyed, so it has to go somewhere.
It has to. Now, how do you get rid of electricity? You have earth leakage like in your house. You have a cable running to the ground to ground it. No, you I'm
talking about the earth leakage.
Yeah, the earth leakage is basically to shut the electricity off, but it grounds everything to the ground.
Okay.
So it shoots it to the ground. So that's why they call it grounding. That's the reason why you have lightning and thunder hitting to the ground. It never heats up. It's called grounding. So when people die on an insulated bed, you're not grounded. So then what happens after that? The rigor mortis, the muscles contract and they go ice cold. Why does it go ice cold? So all of these things, the energy that they can't explain, the lambda energy that I call it, is something that can't be plotted or discovered by diagnostic tools. Now the second thing is the eye. Now in my opinion, there's no fossil records of eyes, only bones, soft tissue. Melts away.
I've never thought about that.
It melts away. The eye could never evolve. How can you have a blind dinosaur chasing blind prey? They have to eat the predator has to eat the prey to get the food chain to go. So the eye always had to be perfect, but the body can evolve. So the eye is the window to the
soul.
Exactly. Third thing, speed of light, speed of sound, gravity. We can calculate all of this. If there is no designer, then it would have been random. But the fact that we as scientists can calculate it, who made up those numbers? So Time, matter, space. Time being an illusion. Fear being an illusion. You know, if you live your life in the now, then you cut out the illusion of time. And a lot of people live in the future.
So is time not a real thing? Time is I've heard once people say time is a consideration.
It's like a radio station. You can tune a radio station.
Yeah.
We're in 3D now. You can be in 4D, 5D, 6D. It's like frequencies, energies. It's like TV. You can change the channel. So because time is an illusion, that's why you have deja vus, coincidence, premonition. Yeah. So if time happened, then, for example, that camera there or that camera there, the year now is 2024. How do you think that camera's technology will look in the year 3024? 1,024? Same applies to VR. When you put on a headset now, how realistic is it?
It's out of this world. I had one. It's crazy.
How would it be in 3024?
You would be in there like a full-on avatar of yourself, like this, 100%.
So now, if Earth is a magnet and you have electricity in your body, what does it say in science? Electricity in a magnet is a current. It flows. So if your current flows right, like in the Bible, it says you get revelations. That's called downloads. So the ether itself, all information's in the ether. And that is every atom, every grain of sand, every life form, every person. We all are even. We are made from the same atoms. So when you look at what religion's trying to preach is that, how do you become selfless with each other? But then the ego came in and the free will, where they broke up into different religions. That's the reason why Jesus Christ is important to me. To be able to not steal from the next person, cheat, kill, the 10 commandments, all of that, and walk it. Then the next person won't get injured. Where the chakra system in the Hindus are very important to me is, how do you find yourself? You have to work from the root up to the crown. You need to have your throat chakra open and talk upon righteousness. That overlaps with the Bible. What about the Muslims? Fasting. When you fast, you detox. You get rid of all these toxins. And we actually, in antennas, we have these pineal glands that can vibrate. Now, when you have fluoride and bad diet like McDonald's and stuff, your body can't vibrate. You don't have this water balance in you to be able to feel the universe. And feeling the universe is where all these superstitious things happen, where you know what's going to happen and somebody's going to call me now and the phone rings and you pick it up and it's that person.
It's that intuition.
That's the intuition. That is basically the energy that's out there. The universe, and this is not my knowledge, this is what I've accumulated through a literature review that I've done just by watching social media. That the universe vibrates at the frequency of 144 hertz. What does it say in the Bible? How many people will be saved in the Bible? 144,000. Is there a coincidence between the two numbers?
Interesting.
How do you get your heart to vibrate at 144 hertz? You need to calm down. Then your heart calms down. Now, how do you calm down? You can't live in the future in your head. You live in anxiety. You tense up. You need to be able to move your thought process to the now, like right now, with no anxiety. Then you can't go back to the past on negative. If you go back to the past on negative, you have regrets. So if you want to go back to the past, you can only go on happy memories.
So what are the tools for those? Do you think prayer and meditation?
I call it the purge. You need to face yourself. So what I done was I thought of 3 things I hate about myself and 3 things I love about myself. And I wrote it down. And I also thought of 3 of my best memories and I played songs to it. And I wrote the first word that came down. And 3 of my worst memories and I played a song to it, emotionally cry about it, purge it out, and face it. I wrote the word down. Now afterwards, when time goes by, you look at it. Now you know yourself. I had this insecurity. I had abandonment issues.
And it has
inferiority complexes.
Yeah.
So now your subconscious opens. So now you can see in subconscious, this memory relates to that feeling. Now that it happened, it doesn't happen again with me. So now you purged. So you become more conscious. Your eyes open more. You respond differently. You don't get triggered anymore. You live in the now. Wow. And it's basically identifying your passion. Like me, I love rap, Tupac. So I own a record label with Celeste Mitchell.
You still do, right?
No, I got out of the game.
Okay.
But I'm still involved in the music sense of, being at events and people shooting music videos and stuff. But that was my passion. The second thing is my science. And the third thing is sport. So my football, boxing, I love boxing. I just couldn't go into it because of science. I have to go study. So I had to prioritize, what do I do now on my passions? And eventually I identified, when I went into each and every passion, I got to know who I am. And a lot of people don't know who they are. There's this fake facade in the mosques that are being worn because of worried about what the next person is going to think about
Always.
me.
And that's quite unusual for from what I've observed, like for a scientist to be as spiritual as you are, you're obviously very spiritual, and now you've already told me you believe in God, because some people need quantifiable evidence, tangible evidence to prove that something exists. And obviously you've gone and you've done your own research, and you can...
Well, you know what, to be honest with you, when I was an atheist, a lot of bad things happened. I was disappointed by many people.
Yeah.
And then when I had to face the facts and the reality, I decided to become selfless for one day. And the story is a long story. I'll just elaborate. I won't elaborate on it, but I'll just give you an overrun. I basically decided to put my phone off and not touch it. But that was difficult, because every time I want to get to the habit of grabbing this phone.
Yeah.
But then what I done was, because I put my phone off and I practiced how not to touch this phone for an hour, I could leave my phone. So when I left my phone for a day, my attention and time could go to somebody else. And then I spent time with somebody else, helping them with a project. And I felt so good, and I could see the joy in this person's eyes. And that was a different connection for me. I went from communicating to conversating, you know. I went from not having emotional intelligence to understanding, oh, this is empathy. This is compassion. Because when I ran, I became so emotionally dead, you know. It's all about IQ. It's all about figuring things out, plotting. Where you going? Because you're in fear base.
But you say that Holy Trinity needs to be working together.
Oh, yeah.
You are working at IQ as an atheist.
IQ.
And then, you have a whole more wholesome and holistic life.
Then what happened? God came.
Three.
So how God came was, I burnt. So can you see this?
Yes.
I burnt really bad. And what happened there was, that was such an experience that I couldn't explain. I was in hospital, and every time I went into surgery, when they scrubbed me, the nurses say I wake up, I'm screaming, Jesus Christ is King.
Really?
Non-stop. Jesus Christ is King. Jesus Christ is King. And I'm going, man, you know. And I realized after that, when I got out, a whole lot of superstitious, supernatural things happened, you know, like coincidences that you can't explain. I explained to my fiancée, I said, Canon, Jesus Christ was next to me all the way. I can't believe I made it out of this. She said, babes, you still have a recovery. I said, if God exists, put on that TV, please. And if it says Ashley on any program, I believe in him. She said, whoa, make it more difficult.
At the hospital?
No, at home.
Oh, you're at home now. Okay.
She said, make it more difficult. What's the time now? I said, it's 9 minutes past 3. She says, when it hits 10 past 3, then we put it on. Now I'm thinking, okay, what's the probability and the odds of this from a scientific and maths perspective?
Yeah.
The clock goes, it hits 10 past 3, TV on. Ashley's always like this. First program, we run out. I'm shivering, I'm crying outside. I'm like, this is unbelievable. Whoa, how does this work? So I went deeper into this. I started to look at IQ and EQ and PQ, the physical intelligence, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, which is the mind, body, soul, the three gods in us, you know. What do you prioritize? Do you put your mind first? Do you put your heart first? Or do you put your gut feeling first? And I've discovered that obviously your soul sits in your gut.
I wanted to ask you, which one is the most
The soul
important?
first, the gut.
The guts first.
The gut, my gut has never been wrong. Whenever it's flight or fight, it is intuition.
And that's kind of what gets us through the Cape Flats for unconsciously
gut,
you're working through intuition.
Our intuition runs.
They call it street smarts. But
that's it.
Yeah.
Your gut, your street smart gets you out of, and it answers many things. It's the universe working through you. It's your soul connecting. Our free will, which is the ego, is the one that doubts your gut. So now you're caught up in a spiral. Is that now a right thing to do or not? But when you go with your gut first and you follow your heart second, now the heart is where Jesus Christ resides. It is basically unconditional love and equality. It is the 10 Commandments. How can I have unconditional love for absolutely every person, plant, animal, and equality? There's no man bigger than a woman. You know, we're all equal because I believe in the reincarnation. I believe we all were men and females at some stage. Some are stuck in between still. You know, reincarnation happens.
Is this where you didn't say Buddhism, but you said the karmic cycle that you also believe
energy
in
cannot be
through.
Created nor destroyed.
So we pass through.
Yeah, so when the Big Bang happened, that energy that's happened there, we that age, we're 13.8 billion years old, all of us.
Yeah.
You know? And scientifically, of course, these are things that can only be felt. It is a customized experience to yourself. It is when you can balance your mind to your body to your soul. When your IQ can attach to your EQ. When you can feel what you think. Then you have Jesus consciousness, Christ consciousness. Because now your thought processes will align to what I feel about that process. There were times when I felt for the next man and I cried. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I'm shedding a tear for that guy. And then my fiancée Canon explained to me, that's empathy. That's compassion. I'm like, oh my God, is that how it feels? You know, so I closed down so hard because of trauma and pain and insecurities and, you know, everything that was needed for me to become stronger. I got goosebumps for the first time after years last week for the first time.
Yeah.
It came back. I'm like, my goosebumps are coming back.
What brought it about?
Becoming calm.
Okay.
Living in the now. Losing the illusion of tomorrow's going to be bad. Also understanding manifestation is true. What leaves your mouth is a spell. That's what they call it, spelling. So good morning to me, I don't want to moan good. I want good day to me.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
I also don't want hello.
Yes.
Even only rather.
Hello.
Yeah, because you know what I mean? The subconscious is where all your memories go, good and bad. The conscious is where the canvas is, in my opinion, where you paint. How do you paint well if it's not connected to the heart? Now, how do you know what the heart must do if your gut is not connected? Your gut must go first, your heart second, and your mind third.
Yeah.
And when I put it in that order, then I tend to flow like water on the universe frequency.
Yeah. I'm thinking about the words you just used now as well. Hello. Because I also saw something like that recently about weekdays,
You know?
weekends.
I mean,
why
why
are these
week?
words and
You know what I mean?
spelling with words? So of the words, the things that we say
Yeah.
are spells, or
It's
that's
what-
why it's so important to watch what comes out of your mouth.
Besides that also, when you talk, that's the energy, the calmness leave your mouth. So
That's
if
why
you,
skinnering about people is
if you
so
gossip,
annoying to me.
it comes back to you. When you
Yeah.
gossip, it's what a person that gossips, they projecting something that they don't want to face inside about themselves.
Yeah.
It's a projection, it's a mirror. So when I talk bad about somebody else, it's something inside me that I don't like about me. But I'm not willing to face and purge it because the pain is too much. You can't blame those people also.
Yeah.
Haters are supposed to be there. We were haters at some stage to something too. Everybody's even. Everybody's equal.
I'd like to also know, like, sorry to break your word there, how does the tie up? Obviously, like a traditional staunch Gano Christian would be like the Bible's the only way, right? And obviously you've said that you've taken the best
facets.
parts of a few religions there, and Christ is your center.
Yeah.
But like biblically, obviously they don't talk about, say, you mentioned the reincarnation.
Yeah.
Like how does it, obviously you found this
I
now
like
through
this.
your own.
I like this.
You found
It's
this through
called the
your own
flower of
research.
life. It's called the flower of life, basically. The flower of life is where everything, every dot of every facet of life, entertainment, science, religion, whatever, they overlap at certain aspects of them. So it's an experience. So whenever I had an experience, somebody told me that's in the Bible, that's called testimony, that's called devotion, that's called surrender, that's called this. And when certain things happened, like when I was in hospital, lawyers came to my hospital bed for me to sign documents for our patents and stuff. But I'm laying there and I can't move. And when I looked at my bank account, I had a biblical amount of multiplication for my faith. And I'm like, but that's in the Bible. So all of these biblical things popped up. So I went to the Bible and I saw, okay, but there are bad things also. Kabbalism.
Yeah.
Kabbalism is bad. You cannot put people and make them believe that God is not within. God is within first. Because we all are part of God. We all are gods. We return to the Father, it says in the Bible, doesn't it? So if we return to the Father,
To the source.
and Jesus Christ is our brother, because he's the Son of God, we are sons of gods too. So you can't praise to a man in the sky if you can't praise internally first. You must praise internally and find yourself and not pray. That's another thing. Pray and predator. What's pray? It's supposed to be praised. I praised you, not I pray you. I don't want to pray on you.
Yeah.
You understand? Even the word pray is like pray.
Yeah. We don't think about these things. Eh?
Yeah, it's subliminal programming. It's what media does as well with entertainment and news. That's why I stopped watching news. Anything negative, I don't watch. Anything negative, like rap lyrics and stuff, I change the song.
Yeah.
I keep my vibration high. Because when your vibration is low, you magnetize, basically, you attract all this negative karmic energies to you. And that is called alphing, extremely low frequency. So to keep a frequency high is the name of the game, to be in a good mood.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you decide though? Or is it sometimes
Happiness
people...
is a choice.
Sometimes people like just minimize it to like chemical imbalances in the mind. Like
Nothing
this is
chemical
just how
imbalance.
I feel and I'm just going to allow myself to feel this
There's
way.
no such thing as imbalance.
You've heard it from a scientist.
Yeah, it's a placebo effect. If I can give you 2 pills, one is a sugar pill and one is a drug, both works. The mind heals itself first. The mind heals the body first. The energy within you, organic. Leave the MSG, leave the gluten, leave the tap water with fluoride in it.
Dairy?
Bad.
Okay. But fluoride, I want to know more about
Why
that.
would there be a sea with many animals in it? What do you eat? What did Jesus do with the fish?
Oh, yeah.
vegetables using sunlight,
Yeah.
fruit.
So you mostly pescatarian?
Pescatarian,
Mostly
yeah.
fish?
Pescatarian, yeah. But I do also indulge in chicken now and then
Yeah.
when I feel
white
it's too
meats.
much. Yeah, white meats and pork now and then.
Is
but
it?
I stay
I've
away.
heard someone told me once that pork blocks the third eye. I don't know how true.
That person's
what you
third eye
feel
was
about-
blocked. Sorry to say it. No, man, because think of it, abundance. Why? If you put a lot of pigs together, they reproduce so much, just like fish in the sea.
Yeah.
Like chicken, they reproduce. Rabbits, they reproduce.
Yeah.
You know, so for me, if you follow nature's design and how animals act and how they go on in wild animals, not dogs now, then there's a common denominator, feminine, masculine, leaving a seed, what they eat, you know. And then us as humans, our teeth, it's not made for ripping. It's made to eat fruit. Look at the shape of our molars and stuff. You know, you take an apple, there's seeds in it, the apple want to be eaten so that the seed can fall on the ground.
Yeah.
It's a common link in the flower of life between nature, spirituality, and religion.
Yeah.
And you can only experience it. Unfortunately, I cannot vouch for any religion. I can just say all religions are correct, but all religions are also incorrect because they're not supposed to be denominations and a split.
Yeah.
That's Kabbalism.
They've fractured us. They've separated.
I mean?
I think the goal of the enemy across any mission is to divide and conquer.
Yeah.
I think they do that with us so well, divide and conquer.
Exactly. So for you to have confidence, I believe you must be fiercely calm. You must be humbly arrogant. You need to find your humility and your arrogance. Without arrogance, and you only have humility, you become depressed. Without humility and only arrogance, you become a narcissist. So you need to balance your spectrums of all your emotions. And I plotted it. I have books of where I wrote down what I felt at the moment. When the devil tried to distract me, I write the time down and how he distracted me. And I saw this commonality between it. And I'm like, oh my God, you know, God exists. The universe is God. Nature is God. Whatever you manifest will be your God. Yeah. Whatever you put out of your mouth will be. So if you want to manifest Jesus Christ, manifest. If you want to manifest Allah, why not? You know, but it's the same principles that apply. It's not about how it looks.
Liewe ma, jy is my beste maatjie. Jy is die snaakste mens wat ek ken in die hele wêreld. Ek smaal oor wanneer ons saam speel. Maar my gunsteling is wanneer ons make-up opsit. Partykeer maak jy my kwaad. Maar is okay. Niemand is perfek nie. Wanneer ek ouer word, wil ek mooi wees soos jy. Geluk by ma se verjaarsdag.
So how do we take these lessons and these principles and things that because you obviously are to me, I know you're a very humble guy, but you're a very special human being. I think a lot of people from Bellore that know you always, Ashley Uys comes up, genius. You know, like you have a very intricate, like beautiful way of thinking. How do we take these things and elevate the frequency of the people in the communities where we grew up from? Because I mean, we kind of, for lack of a better phrase, we made it out of the hood. Yeah. You know, let's drink to that actually.
Oh. I love that, brother. I love that.
You know what I'm saying? We are sitting here now and like kind of by virtue of the choices we've made and we've elevated some, my frequency, I won't lie to you, my frequency goes, sometimes it's up, sometimes it's right at the bottom where my soul is in the ghetto. Yeah. So
you know what the first thing is? The first thing we tend to do when we have stress is to go to something as pleasurable. Either lust, either food, entertainment. Yeah, that is the problem. When you go there, you're elfing. You're using pleasure to get rid of something that you want to face. So meditation and doing the opposite of pleasure. Sacrifice is the key. Surrender, like it says in the Bible. You need to fast, like it says the Muslims. The Muslims say that you need to fast. They are right. When you fast, you're cleansing your system. Now you're surrendering to God and saying, God, please show me. Now you don't have a God complex. You're putting the universe above you. Please show me the next signs. When that happens, your highest version of yourself will tap into you. Remember this earth that you can tune like a radio station? There must be different versions of you in time already. So the highest version of Anton is your God. The highest version of Ashley is my God. Jesus Christ, his highest version is his God. All of those highest versions together make God, the source.
Wow. That's fascinating. That's fascinating. Because definitely I think it's like a switch, like you said. As soon as we hit some certain level of stress or anxiety or moments of discomfort, we reach for the crutch of pleasure.
Exactly.
You know, first, like I'm having a shit day.
Yeah.
Let's go get wasted.
Exactly.
You know,
and that's the problem.
Drugs for a short-term solution that doesn't see to the source. It's just like kind of a band-aid over that.
That's the problem. So I'm sitting here now, I'm fasting for 50 hours already.
50. You on 50 hours now?
Yeah. Yesterday I had a small nibble because I couldn't. But I'm pushing myself out. But I'm having spirit. Now, alcohol,
and you have so much energy, and like I always think that I need to eat because I need more energy. I've eaten more than you, and I feel like you're
I haven't eaten for days, you know. So, but I'm drinking this, but I'm not getting drunk. So how don't you get drunk when you drink this? When your spirit is activated. Why do they call the spirits? You're supposed to consume it to basically give you a tipsy feeling and to thin your blood like an aspirin. Then it's beneficial. But if you drink too much of this, dan kom my duivel uit.
Yeah.
You know, then that ego comes out because now it's self-pity. You go back to all the anxieties and your thought process goes into that low frequency. So when you eat also, when you eat too much, afterwards you're so pleasured out that you go to low frequency. You're off immediately. So people in the morning when they drive at 8 to 10, they're all off. Want to sit in traffic, go to work.
Yeah.
So how do you keep your frequency high in that period? You play music.
Yeah.
You know, you don't eat too much. You eat healthy. Pescatarian or vegetarian. But stay away from the heavy meats. Stay away from milk. Stay away from dairy. You know, eat the stuff that your body wants, not what you feel like having. And that balance is what we lack firstly. So then the PQ is out.
Yeah.
Now if your PQ is out, your IQ is also being affected because now you become lazy. You procrastinate. And then all of a sudden, you now want to go into habits. Now all of a sudden, your ego is more entertained. It's all about going clubbing now. It's about who sees me. Now you develop this big belly with this big ego.
Yeah.
So
I was saying when I look around in the clubs, like we'll talk maybe a bit about, there's a lot of like war and things happening now in the world. But so when I look around South Africa, sometimes I'm looking at how like most able-bodied men are in the club with a belly trying to impress
they stuck
all
in
these
the
girls
ego.
and stuff. Like
Stuck in the ego.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what happened with me, I had to have a big reality check. So after my burn, a lot of things that is biblical happened. That's why I could never discredit the Bible. I was always like, I can't discredit this Bible and I'm not into it. But I can't, it's there. But I have to look at other religions also. And then when the chakra thing happened, I had to work on how do I open my root chakra. The root chakra is your sex and the lust part and the overeating. How do I overcome that? That is a phase that you don't want to be in. When you open that up and you sacrifice in fasting, then you move up to the sacral chakra. And over there, it is, I know more about me, you know, and I can overcome this now. Then you move up to your solar plexus. And in your solar plexus is, I do. Now I'll act accordingly. I don't just talk about it now. I walk because I'm confident. And then you go to your heart chakra. The heart chakra is where you now have unconditional love. Where any person I see now is equal to me. This is 10 Commandments stuff. That's why I say Jesus.
That's the Jesus one, yeah.
Then when you achieve that, now you can talk upon righteousness, the throat chakra. When I see stuff that's wrong, I'm not going to keep quiet and turn a blind eye. I'm going to actually become a beacon of light and talk upon it for righteousness without hurting the person. When you start doing it, then your third eye opens. Now you can see life for what it is. So now your veil is off. Your veil is lifted. It's called conscious. It's called woke. And then now your devotion part comes because now the universe sends tests your way. And I'll mention this, but I'm not going to go into detail. We were almost human trafficked in Mauritius.
What?
Yeah. Now in December. And it was so biblically scripted that we went to our faith and that we made it out of that place with all odds against us. You know, and we also figured out the reason why I burnt was because of that. The same people was in my house 2 days before I burnt.
Wait, so the people... When you burnt, the people that were in your house were the same people that were in Mauritius.
Yeah, they invited us.
You over.
And they spiked my drinks for 5 years trying to get me to sign my company over in some sense, trying to blackmail me, trying to get a guy to have sex with me in a room or whatever, you know.
So these are like potential business partners.
Exactly. That's when I saw the devil. Then I saw, oh my God, the softest people. Be careful. The wolf in sheep's clothing.
Yeah.
But then we went to faith, and when we prayed, weirdest stuff happened.
That's why sometimes I like people that are actually quite open and honest about being a cunt. Like if you are doers, just like be it in my face and not.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because for me, I don't want to be aggressive, but I've clapped a few doers before. And you, I know. But we don't want to go there anymore.
Yeah.
You see, that ego and that aggression, we don't want to use that anymore. We want to use our intellect with our emotional intelligence more than anything else as men. Females, IQ makes the world work. EQ runs it. You can have IQ, you can develop the best product. Try to sell it if you're an asshole. That's EQ for you.
Yeah.
You know, so EQ runs the world. So now we all have masculine and feminine in us. All of us.
Yeah.
We are bipolar, but we're masculine, you and I, by our polarity choice. You know?
Yeah.
So the feminine side is important for us to use amongst men, because if we're going to use the masculine with men, we're going to fight.
All the time.
You know what I mean? So that balance.
We grew up in a time of street fighting.
You know what I mean?
So many fights.
Yeah, we didn't have a choice, my brother. It's either you fight or you run.
Yeah, throughout my 20s was street fights.
You know, but that stood us in good stead for now. Now that we've learned emotional intelligence, now we don't have to fight with a guy. We can just show him what love is.
Yeah, I don't even pull it in anymore. There was a time where I felt like in my early 20s, being from Bellor, being in Bellor, like I couldn't leave the house and go to a party without some fight happening.
Exactly.
So like, what am I pulling in that there's always like, and I used to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Me too. The thrill of it.
Me, the revenge part.
You
know that.
And now I don't even see fights anymore, because somehow I don't know.
You know what it is, man? It was our pain and our trauma. We didn't know how to process it. So what we tend to do is we tend to bottle it. Now it's in the subconscious. Now you come to an event and you don't like this person, whatever. Now you know the devil likes to distract that way.
Yeah.
The devil distracts via control of emotion and timing. He will make sure the person you don't like is next to you and knock your glass.
Yeah.
Now your behavior towards that will show if you are actually giving the devil a chance to pour to your ego, because the devil uses your ego and he activates it and your devil comes out.
And you get liquor.
You know, the negative, you get liquor, and that's a bad feeling.
Yeah.
That means that internally you're a coward to face insecurity. Yeah. That should be pulled out like a rotten tooth.
You should be doing the work on self.
Exactly. Because nobody should be able to trigger you.
The biggest war is actually with self.
That's it.
That's your opponent that you actually should be mooring.
You know, like me, I had a fight with my ego the other day. My soul told my ego, sit down. Because my ego wanted to stand up and boast. My ego wanted to get aggressive. And I subconsciously and consciously thought about this. Sorry, consciously, you can't subconsciously think. But I told my soul, you are the principal, and ego, you are the prefect. You observe, you don't respond. You just come tell the soul. Come tell the principal.
But how do you balance that though? Because I mean, all of us want to be successful. All of us want to drive the Porsche. I know you have the Porsche. All of us want, and that's what I'm saying. Like, all of us want to have that high level of life. Like, how do you balance the ego with, now I've arrived, but I also have to keep in mind and be mindful of not being too boastful. Because we come from places where you want to kind of druk it in your face. You want to drive through Bellor now and be like, I'm there. I'm that now.
I like that question. You know, it's a very difficult thing for males, especially coming from nothing, and also having a lot of haters. The first thing you tend to want to do is show the middle finger to your hater.
Yeah.
Now, I was that way inclined when I hit that arrogant stage of my life. And people didn't know that, but I felt like I'm arrogant in my thought process because I became selfish.
Yeah.
You know, but people didn't know that. It's my own internal battles that I knew. I had to become real towards myself. And then I thought, what do I want to do? Do I want to impress people on what is materialistic? Do I actually want materialism now? No. Leave materialism out quickly and let's just go on, I'm going to go to this party dressed weird. And let's see if I have the same fun.
Yeah.
And then I had the same fun. Now, having to wear certain things, the reason why I'm sitting in earrings is because I want to be businessman plus scientist plus rapper plus everything.
Yeah.
Why do I want to sit here for my clients and suppliers to think that Ashley...
You've always been there. You're actually hilarious. I was in a business meeting with you in Joburg, and I'm talking about like white executives all around the boardroom table. I walk in, and these are like decision makers of the highest level, and you are like, "Oh, Bella boy."
Yeah.
So you're like, you keep it real that way, which I appreciate.
Transparency. You know, I never changed my accent. You rah. You know, you don't. You know, you must be. You know what I mean?
To get ahead in life, because we have to sometimes color code is done.
But
we have to code our language.
It's a system. The system made us believe that you must talk rah to be 100%. Successful. You know. And for me, you don't have to. You talk how you feel. Not everybody's supposed to like you.
When you're done roaring, bro.
Yes,
my tongue feels like it needs to be in a sling.
You're using PQ. Your cheekbones are not where you're supposed to be.
Because it's not authentically you.
That's it.
I've always had to hur, because if I don't hur in this job, I'm not going to get the job as an actor, as a presenter.
I used to stand like this next to the businessman in my mind, not feeling comfortable standing like that. Then I thought, screw this man. And when you start finding your own mold and finding yourself, then you will understand that ego is not required. Ego is not the requirement in any way. The facade of what people think your way is like for me, the Porsche is nothing. You know, I have the same car. I'm driving it here with a spare wheel. I don't care. My wheel is there, but who cares?
Basket.
You know, you when you hit that phases where you have experienced better things.
Yeah.
For me, better things is where I actually shed a tear for something, an experience in a moment. It's not what I saw, but it's that energy that I got. I've learned that to isolate is the main thing. So you need to isolate yourself from all people, including family. Including family. Because in that alone state is when you'll find yourself. Then you'll think about what you like about yourself, what you don't like. Let me plot myself quickly. That's when I get triggered. That's when I don't get triggered. How can I not elf? I need a tool. Okay, I'm going to work on my plants.
Again, just to remind the audience, elfing is when you're at a lower frequency.
Extremely low frequency.
Elf. What does it stand for?
Extremely low frequency.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
So when you're there, you attract, magnetize all negative energy. When you're in a bad mood, you attract negative. The universe, everything you leave your mouth, the universe is going to bring it. But when you're not elfing and you're in a high frequency, you can't attract negative. You know, so now you're staying on this bandwidth of blessings because you're keeping your mind on that bandwidth. Even when the devil tries to distract you, you're not getting upset.
That's where your focus is.
That's it, not to get upset. So if you can use tools, I use music. I love growing cannabis. I extract oils.
I want to get there also. I want to talk about your cannabis.
I've got a small lab at home now. So I'm extracting at home stuff. I've got the distillers and stuff.
Yeah.
But I use that to have fun. Cannon and I love watching things with a comedy. But we don't watch horror movies. We don't watch media. We don't watch anything that's going to bring you.
What do you have against horror movies?
It tend to leave a subconscious in you. When
imprint.
When you liaise with somebody and you have a disagreement, for example, you don't know, sometimes you act upon what that horror movie had in it in terms of whatever. It's the energy that's left behind.
Yeah.
So we watch nature. We watch David Attenborough stuff, you know. We watch reality shows that is more to do with personal development. We watch...
Love David Attenborough, by the way.
Yeah, you know, we watch those things, the high vibe things. And also music. We don't listen to killing people, nigger rap stuff, you know. But
what do you listen to, rap artist?
I love Afrikaans rap, so I listen to Afrikaans artists where they're using the flexing of their vocabulary, man. Yeah. And Afrikaans also...
On the commercial side or underground?
Underground. Ooh, I love underground. I'm an underground... They are amazing artists. There's a guy from Mitchell's Plain, Moosh Kapish. I laughed because he looks so cute as a rapper. Then I saw this guy stick it as a rapper, man. And what he's rapping about, you can see his talent, man. Then there's Crow Boss, you know, who was with us, with Revolution. Crow is doing amazing stuff. You know, Crow is growing. Then there's Cream Machine from Kales River. Wow, that guy is a legend, a genius, you know.
Sounds like a porn star.
Cream Machine. His name is Marvin van Wyk.
Oh, Marvin, okay. Cool.
Yeah, Marvin van Wyk. Marvin, you sound like a porn star, brother.
The Cream Machine.
The Cream Machine.
Starring.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But the music game got me excited for that. I used to love to go and watch how the crowd bounce, and I'll bounce with him. But now the music I like was jazz also. So now I like the Afro beats type of amapiano. Yeah. My boy Armin Aaron, listen to the work that he's doing, you know. Yeah. He's so high on frequency. When I burnt, he sat next to me at my house when I was like laying in recovery, just to come motivate me. So that energy of this guy and the people that I have in my life now, the spiritual people, nothing can replace that. Yeah. Because now you don't chill with elfing people. If you chill with elfing people, you elf. If you chill with high frequency people.
We're essentially also made out of cells. And cells tend to mirror other cells. You become like your environment. Yeah. And I think that's why it's so tough.
It's the stem cell. The stem cell can mimic anything. You get osteoblasts. We can mimic a bone. It grows into a bone. If you osteoblast. Myoblast grows into muscles. Yeah. The same applies if you look at the solar system. The sun, the earth, and the sun and the earth and everything rotating around it. Look at atoms. Same. Proton and you have electrons. What happens if an electron jump up? It gives off light. So the design downwards and upwards follows the same scientific approach and the same laws. Now our God, the main God, not our higher self God, the one, he sits outside the universe. He sits outside time, matter, and space because he made it. He won't sit inside time, matter, space. Yeah. So for me, from a spiritual perspective, from a science perspective, and from an experience perspective, nothing can convince me in any other way now. Cat Williams, 50 Cent, you know, those guys are standing up. Kanye West, even in his own erratic ways, they know what they're talking about.
I feel like it's the year of enlightenment. Like a lot of truth is being exposed.
Those guys are woke, but you see, they're also standing from their own masculine perspective,
on egos,
the balance and stuff. Yeah, where you get couples where you can see they're enlightened. Eldora and Siman, for example, they are enlightened, but there's also their battles. There's Dolores Cannon, for example. She's passed on. This woman done hypnotism and she's discovered so many stories that align for the same spiritual thing. So obviously, if a lot of people feel it and they haven't spoken, there must be a God.
There's a group consensus on that. Wow. So what do you have any there's been a lot of conspiracy theories. Like when I listen to you, I also think about a conversation that I was having recently about, let's say, like who built the pyramids, things like that. Like, what is your take on that? Like, do you believe that there are beings outside of Earth?
Can we first have a cheers on this one also?
Let's have a cheers,
because this is a question.
I feel like this is a whole other topic.
Yeah, if you look at artifacts, relics, everything that's been found can be carbon dated. The way they know what the age of something is, they take a piece of radioactive carbon, they put it next to carbon, and they can see the half-life of how it decays, and they plot it mathematically. They can see this carbon in the substance is so old. So that's why carbon is organic. Anything that has carbon is organic. Artifacts like that has been built in a time, in a location, and the way it's been built with the civilization shows that the intelligence, in my opinion, cannot be from here. Firstly, those pyramids, if you look at, they say that the earth, these are things that I watch.
People are saying now that the earth is flat again. So
no,
I'm
that's
like,
bullshit, man.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of the earth is
if the
flat
earth was
theories
flat,
again.
then you'll be falling sideways.
Okay.
Yeah. And everything in the sky wouldn't be around. You'd see triangles and rectangles and squares.
Yeah.
And also, if you throw something in water, you can see how the ripples go out and how a bubble forms when it pulls together. So a sphere must fall. So those people, good luck. Anyway.
Yeah.
The thing about what were we on now? It was a good point.
The civilizations, the pyramids.
Yeah, the pyramids.
Egypt.
The Bermuda Triangle, for example, is a zone of
where everybody gets lost.
Yeah, magnetization. Your body have an auric field. It's your energy. When you walk into a room, people either frown or smile or do nothing. Just by feeling your energy. That's your aura. It's your auric field. It's magnetized. It's magnetization. So those pyramids were built in locations of magnetization, of where they can actually go connect with God quicker. They say, like Cat Williams said, he believes that the Anunnaki and what's his name also, Pelicarsons, that below the pyramids there was actually hot water springs. And then they use that for the magnetization of when they pray, the pineal glands can connect.
Okay. But these were humans doing it? Or do you believe?
Well, they say that there's 12 strands of DNA and not 2.
We only have 2 now.
Yeah. They apparently,
found 12.
and this is not scientifically proven.
Okay.
It's things that I heard. It's things that I'm considering because it makes sense. It is that we are spliced genetics. Why do we have different blood groups, blood types? A, B, O, O negative. Why can't we mix everybody's blood with everybody's blood? Why only O negative work?
Yeah.
So there must be 4 different types of humans. Now, secondly, there's also Homo
How many
sapiens.
different types of humans? 4. Okay.
Blood types.
Yeah.
Then there must be also Homo sapiens, Homo erectus, who was a European, Homo naledi, which is South African, and the Neanderthals. Yeah. The oldest civilization of humans to the fossil records were found in Lesotho. It was found at the cradle of mankind, called Homo naledi, found by a boy naledi.
Is that Khoi or San or
Sorry?
those people that were found?
The
oldest civilization?
Homo naledi?
Homo naledi. Okay,
Yeah.
so it doesn't even fall in the Khoi, San.
No, it's not. It's a species of human
Oh, yeah?
that's different to us. But it's
Okay.
found in Limpopo. Now they say life started in Africa and everything moved from here. Melanin was lost when they went into the hot. Into the cold, sorry.
Yeah.
So the sun is not required. Now you become unmelanated. So there's a lot of science that shows also that the cradle of mankind and life started in Africa. And it started from melanin base. Because when people walk to the cold, you don't need melanin no more.
Yeah.
You become Caucasian. But now also, in Adam and Eve, if you look at that, Adam and Eve had boys. But they also said there were other people. There was man and mankind. So mankind and man and all of that. And the fact that there's more.
So when Adam and Eve was there were other people already.
Yeah, they would say it's man and mankind in Genesis. There was Adam and Eve. So they were either man or they were either mankind. There was 2 types.
Yeah.
The second thing is, if there's more planets and grains of sand on this on Earth, then surely there can't be one with life on it only. And surely we can't be the most advanced. And surely we can't have the best technology if the time happened already.
Yeah.
So is it improbable to think that there can be ETs?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm saying.
No,
Oh,
I
there's no
hear
cat.
you. I
I'm
hear
saying-
you, brother. I hear you.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So
Way
the
to-
PQ
yeah.
people, what I would recommend, watch your diet firstly.
Mm.
Whatever you eat, think of your body as a conduit that want to vibrate. The more fatty stuff you eat and heavy you feel, the less you can vibrate. The lighter you feel, the more you can vibrate. So light, like lettuce, tomatoes, fruit, anything that's light on your stomach, and break it down into portions. So when that happens, then you're gonna feel good in a mood sense from food.
Yeah.
The second thing, your heart. You don't have to donate money to people. You can go give your time. Like I like to speak to homeless people and
Yeah.
motivate them.
Yeah.
But I don't want to give them money because they're going to fail the test. Maybe they're going to buy drugs with it, and then what? So you take that responsibility on you. How can I be a better person to the next man to motivate them and not to break them down?
Yeah.
Because we all are even.
Yeah.
We all are only, the difference between many of us, we have clouded judgment because of our traumas. When the traumas and insecurities go, the judgment get unclouded. They become brilliant.
Yeah.
Cannon is better than me in maths now, and she's not a scientist. She unclouded her judgment
Nice.
and the traumas. Now you see,
Yeah.
so that means we all are even.
Yeah.
So if you get everybody to that point of purging, pulling out all the insecurities and honoring the mind, body, soul, IQ, EQ, PQ, and they're balancing it 33%, 33%, 33% in 24 hours, you're most likely going to have revelations from the Bible.
So if we are all the same, we're actually more than just adding on to ourselves to become better. I think we are actually taking away. Don't you think we are like we are shedding or like peeling off onion
Conscious
levels
nature and
to
woke.
get back to who we actually are?
Conscious nature and woke is unlearning of bad
It's a
habit.
we are unlearning.
Yeah, it's unlearning of bad habit. We once were pure. Then life brought impurity and we became impure. You become a kid again when you wake up. That's why you're reborn. That's why it's called rebirth.
So spirit in its purest sense is pure.
You become kid-like. You start like making jokes and funny stuff, and you know, and that
having a
kid-like,
spirit of play.
you know, it comes back to you.
Yeah.
So that's when your emotion come back, where you start getting goosebumps again, and all of that come back. Now you know you're spiritually in tuned. Yeah,
Nice.
it's control of your free will, using your free will to work for you and not against you.
Yeah. Wow, that was awesome. That was
Thank you,
awesome.
my
But I want to delve into you as a scientist, the things that you've developed, because there's things that's way beyond my understanding, like your COVID-19 antigen. What is that? Because you developed things for COVID-19.
Yeah.
I don't know if you did some vaccines as well.
Well,
you did things with malaria.
yes. Yeah.
With HIV, breathalyzer tests.
Yeah.
I think you've got a host of products, and you've got a massive staff complement, I think, that works for you. I don't know how many people work for you
Yeah. So
at your lab.
So we 40.
40.
We've got 4 doctors at the company.
Yeah.
5 now. 5 doctors at the company.
Wow.
And master students, interns. I'm a mister. I didn't go do my doctorate, so I'm working towards my honorary doctorate one day. You see, I'm putting it out in the universe that I can do enough for society to get it one day.
Yeah.
They are Dr. Lyndon Munger is our Chief Scientific Officer.
Yeah.
Dr. Charlene Kimar, she's in research and development. Dr. Arman Peters, Dr. Takunda, they are the core. And then there is Zaira Umar and Daryl Tyre, my brothers, my mother, they're all at the company.
Oh, so it's all the
The whole
families there
family,
now?
yeah.
That's amazing.
So the technology we bring out now, we have patents we filed. The one patent is actually to do with fuel laundering. We supply a company in Texas with a test kit. So we made this test kit to detect if it's paraffin in diesel. Because you know, there was this fake diesel thing where they mix diesel with paraffin with diesel.
I saw that. Yeah.
Because paraffin doesn't have...
There's a whole syndicate that was it was on carte blanche where they're mixing paraffin and selling
diesel,
off this
so we
diluted
make
diesel.
the test kit for that. So we supply SARS with it.
Okay.
And SARS test the tankers, and we supply this company in Texas.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. The second thing is we're launching the biodometer now. And today, hopefully, the software is done. Next week, I'm expecting it to be ready for commercialization. We're busy with packaging now. So it's basically, we have this device. You don't plug it in your phone anymore. We built it. I actually have actual units at work. It's a Bluetooth device. And in that Bluetooth device, you plug diabetes strips in. Now it connects to your phone. Now on your phone, you can now do diabetes testing within 5 seconds, and it gives you weekly reports. It will tell you your diabetes levels throughout the week. And
on your phone,
on
through
your
an
phone,
app.
on the app. Then you can email it to your doctor. It goes straight to your doctor. It goes straight to the insurance underwriters, whoever. Now you can do cholesterol testing on your phone with the same principle. Reporting, app reporting, you know. You can do HIV testing on your cell phone now. Malaria testing on your cell phone. That's called the biodometer. Our trademark was approved. The patents are going through Von Seidels. The second one we're launching is called Pocket. this is where doctors don't have to send their blood to pathology services anymore. They can actually do it in the lab. They don't need Pathcare and all these companies.
Lancet.
Yeah, so we built a device called the Pocket. You carry it in your pocket. And it's a PCR device, like polymerase chain reaction, what they used in COVID times. It's a PCR device, but it doesn't use a thermocycler machine. It's only a heating block, and we use enzymes with color dyes in there that heats up to a certain temperature. Then you can do PCR in your office. So doctors can now do TB testing in the office, cervical cancer testing in the office. They don't have to get blood sent around. We're launching that soon also. I got a video yesterday of the prototypes working. Yeah. So until it's commercial, it will be very soon. I'm manifesting a month to 2 max. Biodometer in pocket.
You launch then?
Yeah. Then it's Oculus, the pupil scanner.
Yeah.
To check if your kids are on drugs or whatever. But that device can also detect diabetes. We never knew that. We tested one group of individuals and we saw that the eye's reaction to light, a flash went off and the eye lagged on a reaction to light on this device, and they're all diabetic.
How is that put? Is that like a headband that you put on your...
It's like a VR headset thing.
Okay.
You put it on like this.
And it scans your eyes.
No, it's a camera running. Then a flash goes off. And then based on how your eye reacts to light, it plots a graph. So the y-axis is the size of the pupil. The x-axis time. So based on the graph, you can see if a person is impaired. If they're impaired, the graph, your eye don't react to light. And your pupils are bigger, it's dilated for certain drugs. So the graph is high up. When people use heroin or morphine, the graph is low down. It constricts the pupil. When they smoke THC or whatever, then their slope, the eye reacts slower. So now you baseline an individual. You do a medical on them and you baseline their eyes. The next day when you scan it, it's going to compare to the healthy baseline. So if there's deviation, you can do health checks as well on your mobile phone.
Wow.
So these are all the new technologies. So Oculus Eye has been patented. It is registered in the US. Biotech is the oil project. And that we're doing in collaboration with many others. It is something that I feel is going to be good for our industry.
Yeah.
And then there's Pocket and Biodometer, the 2 new technologies. The Biodometer is an electrochemical test that uses voltage, and it checks how things bind based on voltage. And the Pocket is a molecular test that detects genetic materials using PCR reagents and color dyes as well as enzymes.
Wow. And all of these sound like very intricate, high-level technological advances. Where did it all begin? Like, what was your first product that you pushed out to market?
Yeah.
That was like, let's say, the first hit, the first success.
Yeah.
Where did it start?
So substance abuse was an issue in my family. So I developed the drug test. So the first thing I done was I imported drug test. Yeah.
Okay.
I imported drug test to build market share. So I got Alpha Farm Pharmacists on board. It was a big elevator pitch I had to do to them. Took a year to get that contract. I had to have like before and after pics of drugs. I was only 24. So that was a difficult thing. When I got in there, I went to UWC and they gave me lab space and I developed my own technologies. Then I employed Lyndon Manga. He then became Dr. Lyndon Manga in the company. And then I employed my family and all the scientists. So my scientists, the corporate culture there is, what can I do for them? What can they bring to the company? Not they work for me in hierarchy.
Yeah.
Innovation is the name of our game, So we collaborate with UCT, Stellenbosch University, UWC, and we have interns from UVU Bio. So we're always innovating. We have geneticists at our company. We've got molecular biologists, microbiologists, material scientists. And the space that we're in, when they pop an idea, then we will have a brainstorming session. And then me and my innovative voice, I will say yay or nay, because obviously it has to be funded.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's insane, man. You've got a lot going on. Like, how many hours do you sleep a night? Like,
My
I'm always interested with how many
now.
hours somebody sleeps, because it says a lot about them. Like, I mean, do you get rest?
Yeah, I wake up at 3 in the morning though. Every morning. 3 to 5, the latest. But 3 is my sweet spot.
What time did you go to bed?
8 to 9.
Okay, so you're in bed early.
Yeah, very early.
Books, read?
No.
You don't read?
No.
Okay.
I don't read. I like to watch videos. I like to watch YouTube videos that I can verify.
Okay.
This is good content. I don't like reading.
Yeah.
I like watching content.
Yeah.
I like to learn from a picture perspective and not from a book smart perspective, although people think I'm book smart.
Yeah. I would have assumed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what would you say to youngsters out there that would want to become a scientist and like follow the path that you've taken? Because honestly, like you see a lot of young kids these days, they're icons, and the people that are setting the people that they look up to, they want to, like, in the age of social media and stuff, like I think less kids are wanting to like take that harder paths towards, being a scientist, being a doctor, getting a PhD.
Yeah.
Whereas I think there's a lot of room for kids to that they should also want to pursue that. How would you, what's the advice that you would give to kids out there that would want to follow the path that you took?
The first thing is identify your passion. You must know what in science do you like. If you like science at all, it's identifying that first. And then understanding your EQ.
Yeah.
That's the next thing. If you understand your EQ, you will know, do I feel like going there? Your gut will be activated.
Yeah.
So your gut feeling will tell you, this is what I want to do. If they don't know what, they can do an aptitude test. They can go to UWC, they do an aptitude test. They will let you know what is your likes and your dislikes, introvert, extrovert, all of those things. You can do the psychometrics.
Yeah.
But your gut feel will tell you what to do. So for scientists, I would say, be prepared to have long hours of research, because that's the first thing in science.
Yeah.
And then the main thing for me is, do not try to reinvent the wheel. Add to that wheel. Innovate in a way that you can add with your competence.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of people are looking for the next big thing, but wanting to start something from scratch, where like reinventing the wheel is not necessary.
Yeah, it's
just
a consortium of a network.
On.
Nobody can do something by themselves. I can't do this by myself.
Like even within music, I think it's the same chords played over and over again to make different songs.
Your network is important. So who your network is, and always having the greatest network, going on your feeling and your gut feel, you can identify all the resources without spending money. You can get people in a consortium where everybody add equity. Now you have sweat equity. Now you started a business. Now you started a business with no money, like I did.
Yeah. You started with no money.
With no money.
Damn.
No investment. I negotiated with my customers to pay me before I had to pay my suppliers.
Smart.
Yeah.
Damn. Ash, I think we're going to cut it over there.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you so much for agreeing to sit down with me and trusting me with your time. And before we go, one more cheers to you. All the best for the future. I'm always rooting for you. Much love.
All of the best. Health, wealth, happiness, prosperity.
Cheers, my brother.
One love.
Peace.
Peace.